He's the commissioner of the NBA, David Stern. You a football fan, Commissioner?
A little bit.
Did you watch the draft?
Some of it. I always admire Rogers' work. I get a kick out of the set and all the fans waiting outside. It's fun to watch to see the setup.
But are you looking at tips on how to act during the draft? If you're looking at the commissioner comparing,
I'm too old for that. You know, I'm set in my ways.
You handshake. The commissioner hugs, though.
Yeah, I'm into handshakes.
Maybe change it up a little bit.
Could be. You know, I could do a knuckle bump.
Nothing wrong with that. A little dap. I would love that.
Okay, or a high five.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
The shorter regular season, now that it's done, any thought to would you have a shorter regular season given what the results were and interest in the game? Any movement towards that?
It presents some real economic challenges. Okay. That's all I would say. We'll consider anything, but the starting place at one end of the spectrum is the fact that we have these buildings that have been built in anticipation of 41 home dates plus exhibition and potential playoffs, and we have local cable and national cable deals constructed on the premise of a certain number of games. And we pay salaries to the players who receive it based upon that number of games. So the reduction would require a massive reformulation of both the revenues and the expenses to the players that are in play here, and it's an interesting issue, but I think it may have severe economic impact that we'd have to study carefully.
Your thoughts on Greg Popovich sitting down some of his stars with this truncated season? Did you talk to the Spurs about doing that for the entertainment value that these people are paying to see them in Utah or wherever it might be?
I did not.
Not important?
It's important, but I'm just not sure where the line ends. It's a very thin, you know, the reality is that over the last 20 years, teams have been resting their players as they come up to the playoffs because it is a long season. This year, their rationale is it's a compressed season, and we just haven't found the mechanism for substituting our judgment for the coach's judgment, because I don't think we should.
But when Popovich or somebody lists Tim Duncan as DNP old, is he tweaking you?
I thought he was tweaking me, suggesting that I should sit down too. Okay, but you know, he wasn't tweaking. I think Tim was the one that wanted that to be the reason. But the reality is that the reason the Spurs have done so well this year, I think, is because they carefully manage the minutes of their players.
Yep, I agree.
And that would be like me saying, well, you know, you're at 23 minutes. I think you really could give the fans a better treat if you had them at 28 minutes. That's not a judgment that I'm prepared to make.
He's the
or impose.
He's the Commissioner, David Stern, joining us in the program. What factored in with Meta World Peace getting 7 games?
You know, as I said, I guess Wednesday, he did something that we thought was reckless and dangerous, that merited a severe penalty, and under all of the circumstances, we thought that 7 games was a severe penalty.
Any thought to did you have discussion on making it longer?
I had discussion in my head about everything. In other words, there's probably a range here. I smiled when someone says it should have been 10. And I said, you're right. And someone says it should be 5. I said, you're right too. And someone says it should be for the rest of the season. I said, you're right too. I said, the problem is at the end of the day, I have to make the decision. And I thought that all things considered, 7 was the right number.
Did you talk to him?
I did not.
If he appealed, then do you talk to him?
We would. I mean, someone from my office spoke to him. We always do a workup of any incident, and we interview the person involved. And I reviewed everything that was taken down. And of course, fortunately or unfortunately, I've met with Ron or Meta World Peace on more than one occasion.
Yeah. Charlotte Bobcats, live in infamy here with the worst winning percentage in history. But is the lottery does it still work, in your opinion?
Well, I think it does. I think it has been dynamic. We have it has been changed from time to time to reflect concerns that people had that it wasn't fair enough, and so we have it where it is, and we think it works.
How do you know if a team is tanking to get more ping pong balls?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know.
Everyone says that that Golden State was trying to lose because they benched David Lee, and then he goes in for surgery. Oh, really?
Well, I had Jerry West on, and as I found out the hard way, do not question his desire to continue to win, whether it was Memphis or Golden State. But you had I think John Lucas came out when he was at Cleveland, that he said that they were trying to lose games so they could get more ping pong balls for LeBron. Do you remember that comment?
I don't remember it, but I've heard it. I mean, I don't live in a complete bubble, and we're aware of the issue, but it's very, very difficult.
But if they don't get, if Charlotte doesn't get Anthony Davis, now I know that you have to look at an entire league here, but if they don't get Anthony Davis, that's tough to go through a season like this. Fan base and.
Oh, I can't imagine that. Given the fact that we've had a lottery where Orlando won 2 years in a row, and
San Antonio.
Yeah, and where that's one of the reasons it was originally changed, because it became so random. You can't predict where those ping pong balls are going to land or how they're going to land. So I think that the good news is that I am reliably informed that this is a very deep draft. Has lots of great players.
There's one in.
Kevin Durant was second in the draft. Look around.
I'm looking. There's no second best player to Anthony Davis.
Famous last words. Terrific.
I will live with those words.
Okay.
There's nobody who I see.
What number was D. Wade taken at? I forget.
Was he 3?
Oh, he wasn't second. Okay. There's a very, and poor Michael. He was third.
I know. Poor
How do you
Michael.
like that? He dropped to third, and lucky Rod Thorne.
Okay. Now, before I let you go, now I know that we talked about this before with the collective bargaining agreement, the one and done, and you were looking at that age limit being moved up to 20. You wanted to change it.
Right.
Will you be able, as long as you're commissioner, will we ever see the one and done changed?
I don't know the answer to that. I think it would be a great idea to change it to 2 and done. If that's the way it gets ultimately described. I think that everyone I hear from, NBA players actually, college coaches, NBA teams, everyone says it's a pretty good idea except the union, whose consent is necessary to change it. So what I tell people to do is don't call me, call their union. Of course, the next thing is that everyone says, well, we should really let them go into the NBA out of high school, because this one and done affects the colleges badly. And my reaction to that is we have the current rule, which is 1 year from high school, 1 year later than high school, because it's good for our business. We didn't do it to help or to hurt the colleges. and any college could decide not to take a player who was likely to leave after a year, but indeed it would probably cost the college president his job.
But you don't see this any movement on this?
I don't know. I'll call the Players Association and see what they think.
I think they have other issues right now that they're worried about.
Well, we agreed in the collective bargaining to sit down and to talk about it. We did appoint a committee, but we just haven't been able to. The union hasn't been available to attend the first meeting of the committee.
It's good to visit with you. Hope the postseason is fun and festive for you.
Hey, it's going to be a great playoff. Don't forget to watch.
Did you give me your vote on MVP?
No, I forgot.
LeBron?
I don't vote. I don't have a vote.
No, but you can still. Now the regular season's over. You can vote.
No,
Come on. Come on.
No. It would be if he got it. It would be nice for him. I think that would be a nice thing. He's had a good year.
What about Durant?
He would be great. Three scoring titles in a row. We're watching him mature before our very eyes. And there are only two of a cadre of great players that currently populate our playoff picture.
Help Michael Jordan if you can. Help Michael help himself, all right?
He's such a competitor. He doesn't need any help at all. I assure you he'll be fighting his way back.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, always a pleasure.
All right, Commissioner Stern.